of credible polls in 2023. WHO declares monkeypox a global health emergency. While on the foreign scene, Russia attacks Ukrainian ports after signing grain export deal. Good evening, and we're glad to have you join us on the major reports. I am Olubomi Ajiboye Agbola. President Muhammadu Buhari has said next year's election will give the All Progressives Congress the opportunity to consolidate its achievements of the past 7 years. This was as the president declared that his personal desire and priority of his regime was to bequeath an irreversible political process that would continue to be both democratic and acceptable to Nigerians. According to a statement signed by a special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president said this when he received a delegation from Nasarawa State led by Governor Abdullahi Sule. The president noted that the off-season elections in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states had confirmed its regime's irreversible commitment to credible and violence-free polls in the country. He further told the delegation that the Electoral Act signed by him earlier this year was an attestation of the fulfillment of the administration's determination and commitment to the tenets of the rule of law. The federal government has announced the release of the list of admissions into the 110 federal government colleges, otherwise known as unity schools, located across the country, including the Gifted Academy in Suleja. Statement signed by the Director of Press, Federal Ministry of Education, Benjamin Bengung, asked parents of pupils who applied for admissions into any of the unity colleges to check for the names of the awards on the ministry's website, www.education.gov.ng, or at the school they applied. The statement added that limited vacancies were in some unity colleges and admission is ongoing in schools where such vacancies still exist. It will be recalled that the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Education released the criteria for admission into unity colleges with a reconfirmation that it will strictly abide by the established criteria for admission. Federal Ministry of Education said further that 60% of the admission will be based on national merit, 30% would be based on equality of state, while 10% will be on exigency. Meanwhile, United Nations Children Fund Kano Field Office says it has spent $109 million for the implementation of the Girl Education Project 3 in 6 northern states of Nigeria. Senior Education Manager of the agency in the country, Mr. Michael Banda, disclosed this during a media dialogue on girls' education in Bauchi. He added that the money was expended on the project within a period of 10 years of its existence. Mr. Banda explained that the project was carried out under the funding of the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office of the United Kingdom, listed the states to include Sokoto, Zamfara, Niger, Kano, Bauchi, and Katsina. He also explained that the total target in terms of getting girls enrolled in schools across the 6 states within a period of 10 years was 1 million, which is above the target of 400,000. In another development, the National Population Commission has announced plans to recruit 1 million staff for the 2023 National Population Census and Housing Exercise. The Federal Commissioner of the NPC, Alhaji Amobaye, announced this in Daura, Katsina State. He said applicants who must be 18 years and above must possess their national identity numbers and apply online. He, however, denied social media reports that the recruitment exercise has already commenced, saying the date will be announced to members of the public. According to him, applicants are expected to apply from where they are residing, and they are ready to work anywhere if employed. The Federal Commissioner who was in Daura for the ongoing enumeration exercise for the planned trial census in Daura local government area, said the exercise has recorded huge successes since its commencement earlier this week. Nigerians have advised the federal government to tread with caution and not be hasty in its decision to ban the use of commercial motorcycle, popularly known as Okada, in Nigeria. Those who spoke in separate interviews with OSBC News noted banning commercial motorcycle without alternatives could breed more of the insecurity government is trying to curb. Our reporter Akomolafe Ayobami completes the story.
Reactions have continued to trail the proposed plan by the National Security Council to ban the use of motorcycle, popularly called Okada, in the entire country. In an effort to curb the incessant issues of insecurity in all parts of the country, the federal government, through the National Security Council, had proposed plans to place a ban on the operations of the motorcycles, popularly known as Okada, in Nigeria, as they believe it aids logistics activities for the terrorists. Nigerians have, however, advised the federal government not to be hasty in taking such decisions, as it could further breed the insecurity being attempted to curb. Speaking with OSBC, a public affairs analyst, Professor Olusegun Kehinde, who expressed his displeasure over the move, noted that the motorcycle business is serving as means of livelihood to millions of unemployed youths in Nigeria who did not want to take to crimes and criminalities. According to the Don, banning the use of motorcycles would create more issues for the society, which the government might not be able to solve.
For so many years, motorcycle usage has become the in thing. People have found it to be a medium for getting things done faster. We can't rule out the possibility that will be miscreants amongst them, but also it still doesn't take away the fact that it has become extremely useful.
Speaking in the same vein, a member of Okada Riders Association, Comrade Yemilawa, explained that the motorcycle union in Osun State are duly registered and operate within the ambit of the law.
I don't like it, you don't like it at all, because in many people, they are going to suffer too much of suffering will occur. And many atrocity again will come out through such a thing.
While speaking on ways to curb insecurity, Professor Kehinde advised the federal government to liaise with the registered motorcycle operators in all parts of the country, dialogue with them, and fashion out ways to identify the bad eggs among them. This, they maintained, would go a long way in exposing the activities of the hoodlums who hide under the guise of motorcycle operators.
Why don't we just sit down, look at it critically, think it through first, and then perhaps talk to those who are stakeholders within that sector, and then see how we can resolve it. If you ban it now, does it mean that there will still not be criminals? There will still be criminals. So we need to look at it again and say, okay, I think it's not in our interest. Those who therefore become victims of this government policy will end up on the streets. They will become urchins. They will become a threat to our society. So we can't try to solve one minor problem and create bigger ones.
Analysts have expressed conviction that when security agencies work in synergy and sincerity of heart, and with the cooperation of every member of the public, the security situations in the country will improve tremendously. Ayobami Akomolafe, reporting for OSBC.
Airline operators have announced an acute shortage of aviation fuel, which will disrupt flight operations in the country. According to reports, a public notice issued by the spokesperson of the operators under the aegis of Airline Operators of Nigeria, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, declaring that the sector had been hit by a major crisis of acute scarcity of the commodity. He added that there will be major disruptions in scheduled flight operations, including cancellations and unnecessary delays across all airports in the country. The airline operators therefore pleaded for the understanding of the traveling public to bear with their members, as efforts are currently being made to address the development and restore normal flight operations. Ekiti State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oyebanji Filani, says the state has recorded fresh 74 COVID-19 cases, thus necessitating return to preventive measures to prevent spread of the deadly virus. The commissioner made the disclosure in a statement titled "Ekiti announces return to strict COVID-19 preventive measures to mitigate increasing nationwide spread. He stated that as the State Ministry of Health continues to monitor the recent increase of COVID-19 cases across the country and the recent spike in the state with 74 persons currently positive, all residents of Ekiti State are hereby advised to adhere strictly to the government's public health and social measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Dr. Filani acted on the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines, saying vaccination remains the most effective means of curbing the pandemic, and they are encouraged, and the ministry encourages all residents of the state to get vaccinated, as at today, 384,730 persons are fully vaccinated. However, this is not sufficient to achieve herd immunity, hence the reinforcement of preventive protocols. He added that residents must wear face masks in public gatherings, maintaining hand hygiene through proper hand washing, use of alcohol-based hand rub, social or physical distancing, reporting at the nearest health facility when sick, getting tested and isolating if positive, and adherence to COVID-19 measures by banks and other institutions. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has officially declared the monkeypox disease as a global health emergency. The global health body noted that it activated its highest alert level for the growing monkeypox outbreak, making the virus a public health emergency of international concern. According to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, monkeypox is a rare viral infection transmitted from animals to humans that is endemic in areas in and near tropical rainforests in Central and West Africa. Meanwhile, NCDC confirmed 101 cases of monkeypox, its highest figure since 2017, when the disease re-emerged in the country. While addressing the press, the WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus noted that the decision came as a result of the rise in cases of the monkeypox virus. He further said that globally, no fewer than 16,000 cases of monkeypox have been reported across more than 70 countries so far this year, and the number of confirmed infections rose 77% from late June through early July this year. Nigerians have been admonished not to let down their guard in activating all hygiene presentations against the deadly Marburg virus, which has been reported in the neighboring Ghana. Special advisor to the governor on public health, Dr. Shiji Olamiju, who gave the admonition while reacting to the discovery of the virus in Ghana, noted that if Nigeria could combat COVID-19, it could battle any virus.
On ground to curtail it, because having succeeded in the war against COVID-19, I doubt if there is any other virus escalation or epidemics or whatever that, by the grace of God, Nigeria will not be able to cope with. People should not panic. The government of the state of Osun, under the leadership of Alhaji Gboyega Oyetola, is irrevocably committed to the health of the citizenry. As a government, we have started, awareness campaign through radio, other media, so as to sensitize our people against this virus. Though it has not been discovered in Nigeria, but Governor Oyetola is a proactive person. So as a state, we have been proactive about it, resensitizing our surveillance antenna across the state so as to nip in the bud in case it rears its ugly head. People should not panic. They should not panic. They should go on with their businesses, but maintaining high level of personal and hand hygiene.
Dr. Olamiju assured the people of Osun State that the Oyetola administration is committed to healthy living and places premium on the health of the citizenry.
Virus is a deadly virus. It kills 50% of those people that it infects. And in some cases, especially the harmful strain of it, can kill up to 88% of those people that it infects. It means if the harmful strain infects 100 people, 88 of them will die. That's to tell that we have to be very careful. And it is caused by fruit, bats and contact with infected person, infected surfaces or infected material. That is where we can contact it. People should be very careful in terms of contact, in terms of maintaining hand hygiene, materials they touch and, the surfaces they touch or they interact with, so as to be off the hook of this deadly virus. Now, before, it is usually in Uganda and Guinea that we heard of it, but now it has been discovered in our neighboring country, Ghana here. It means we have to be extra careful in terms of maintaining the usual protocol of public health that we have been, hammering since the time of Lassa fever to COVID. We have to avoid larger gathering, know who you interact and, share your body contact with. And those people, especially the farmers, who may have interaction with the fecal matter of the fruit bats, should be extra careful.
Gunmen allegedly dressed in military camouflage have shot dead a youth leader and chieftain of the People's Democratic Party in Bayelsa State, Honorable Odenyefa Ogbolosinha. Ogbolosinha, aged 53, was an administrative officer in Bayelsa State Civil Service and Secretary, Okodia Zarama Cluster Development Board. According to reports, the victim was rushed to the Federal Medical Center, Yenogwa, for treatment but was confirmed dead by doctors on arrival at the hospital. Spokesperson for the Bayelsa Police Command, Asnim Boswat, as superintendent of police, confirmed the incident, adding that police have commenced investigation into the murder. The major reports continue after this message. Stay tuned.
Guy, they make a run use your phone, Jare.
Guy, where did you do your glow line now?
Baba, calm down now. Not be this NIN wahala, they give me stress. They don't even block my lines.
But now glow NIN link is simple pass now. Yes, simple. Just dial *109#. Tell where to do. See, give my phone.
What if I don't get NIN before?
Simple. Just go any glow word now. Once you go get your NIN. Yes.
Guy, I get plenty guys who don't link their NIN. Until now, their phone still get blocked.
Tell them when they go any glow word now. Once they go block their line. Yes, now.
No, I'll make I use your own phone for now. I go start my own later.
Guy, talk plenty talk. You know, so when I link my line, glow that me plenty bonus. Yes, now. And when you link your own line, glow will dash you up to 20,000 naira bonus.
20,000?
Yes, so 20,000 naira bonus.
Yeah, fam. Take your phone. Remove. Yeah, and they don't link my NIN.
This bonus now for both new and existing customers, so.
You're welcome to our sports segment. Nigeria Sports Minister Sunday Dare is optimistic that Team Nigeria will be very competitive at the 2022 Commonwealth Games starting in Birmingham, United Kingdom next week. Here are the details of the story and more in the world of sports.
Sports Minister Sunday Dare said Nigerian athletes are fit and ready for the games because the past few months have sharpened and toughened them for the challenges ahead. Speaking during a farewell dinner organized for Team Nigeria by the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Katrina Lang, at her residence in Abuja, Mr. Dare assured that Nigeria will excel in Birmingham with some of the athletes in Eugene, Oregon, United States of America for the World Athletics Championships, as some were in Mauritius for the African Senior Athletes Championships. Also, Nigerian forward Taiwo Awoniyi is already due for his first visit back to his old stomping ground today. Awoniyi completed a club record of 17.5 million euro move from Union Berlin to the newly promoted EPL side Nottingham Forest last month. Nottingham Forest will play a preseason friendly game against Union Berlin at their home ground in Germany today in their fifth and final preseason game. Forest manager Cooper said Awuni was the player the club had been monitoring closely over the past few months. Awuni played 65 games for Union and scored 25 goals, 13 of which came at the home stadium. It remains to be seen if his former fans will give him a warm welcome so soon after his departure. Meanwhile, Arsenal have completed the signing of versatile Ukraine player Alexander Zinchenko from Manchester City. The 25-year-old flew back from City's preseason tour of the USA to complete the move after Arsenal agreed a €30 million deal, which includes €2 million in addition. They have signed a long-term contract with the London club and is their fifth signing of the summer. Zinchenko worked with Arteta with the Gunners boss, was on the coaching team at Manchester City and says the experience played the most important role in his decision to move ahead. Lastly, wrestling legend has been on leave from position after reportedly having an affair with worker, paying hush money to cover it up. Vince McMahon announced his retirement from World Wrestling Entertainment industry, officially leaving the company that he built into the world's most powerful wrestling organization over 4 decades. Reports says that he had an affair with a worker and paid millions in hush money to cover it up. McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, had taken over his position on an interim basis. Vincent K. McMahon purchased the parent company of the then World Wrestling Federation from his father, Vincent J. McMahon, in 1982 and started an overhaul of the organization that reshaped the industry. For OSBC News, Oluwaranti Ochewumi reporting.
And moving on to the forest scene, less than 24 hours after signing grain export deal, Russia has attacked Ukraine with reports on the use of missile shots at the Black Sea port area was deliberate. Oluwatomi Oyeyemi has details of this and more.
The military has said that explosions have rocked a key Ukrainian port just a day after Kyiv and Moscow reached the landmark deal to allow the resumption of grain exports as 2 missiles hit the city of Odessa. Under the terms of Friday's deal, Russia had agreed not to target ports while grain shipments are in transit. EU Foreign Affairs Chief Joseph Borrell has called the attack Russia's show of total disregard for international law, adding that EU strongly condemns the attack. Blaming Russia, Ukraine's Air Force Chief said grain stores at the port had been deliberately targeted. It's unclear whether there were casualties or substantial damage. Elsewhere, at least 21 people have died and 3 others are missing after heavy rains caused flooding in the southern Iranian province of Fars. Officials of the local Red Crescent Society aid group has confirmed the deaths, adding that 150 emergency responders and an aerial unit are working at the scene at the town of Eshtaban, 174 kilometers east of the provincial capital, Shiraz. The governor of Eshtaban, Youssef Kaga, said heavy rains, which started yesterday in the central parts of the Eshtaban country, led to the flooding, and Khalil Abdullahi, head of the province's crisis management department, added that at least 55 people were rescued in the flood, which submerged 15 cars. In the meantime, the widow of former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi has appealed the decision by a Malta court ordering the Bank of Valletta to return to Libya some €95 million deposited by Gaddafi's late son, Mutassim. Safia Ferkash and her lawyers argued in their appeal that the courts lacked jurisdiction and could not decide the case over the funds. In her appeal, Mohammed argued that the Libyan laws invoked in the case were criminal ones, but that no criminal case was ever initiated against Mutassim Gaddafi or his heirs. The appeal was filed on behalf of the Gaddafi heirs by Maltese lawyer Luis Casar Policino, and no date for a hearing has been seen yet. Oluwatomi Oyeyemi for OSBC News.
And to head the major reports tonight, here is the recap of some of the top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians of credible polls in 2023. We also told you that World Health Organization declared monkeypox a global health emergency as NCDC confirmed 101 cases of the virus, its highest figure since 2017 when the disease re-emerged in the country. While on the foreign scene, we reported that Russia attacked Ukrainian ports after signing grain export deal. And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Thank you for watching. Good night.
ti dé pẹ̀lú eré alárinrin white flower bí ẹ ti mọ̀ pé a fẹ́ràn yín la ṣe pinnu láti ṣe àfihàn white flower eré òde òyìnbó sí èdè yorùbá fún ìgbádùn yín agbẹjọ́rò Dante Cruz àti aya rẹ̀ ló ṣe fún kẹ́ ìfúwọ̀jì lọ́wọ́ àwọn agbanipa látàrí ẹ̀rí ìwà àjẹbánu èyí tí ó ń tọpinpin lórí gómìnà Julio Andante àti ọmọ rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n oríkó ọmọ wọn Lily yọ ní ọjọ́ náà ta ló pa mòfin ọ̀hún kí ni padàbọ̀ Lily sílùú Andante white flower yóò mọ̀ wá sójú ìwòran yín lórí ìkànnì ST Yorùbá lóṣù karùn-ún yìí láti ọjọ́ ajé sí ọjọ́ ẹtì dédé aago 8 àṣálẹ́ lórí ìkànnì táwa yìí ST Yorùbá ọmọ káàárọ̀ òjíire.
nígbà ìwáṣẹ̀ kí ọ̀làjú tó dé ó ní ọ̀nà táwọn baba ńlá wa ń gbà gbé ìgbé ayé wọn pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn tí wọ́n sì ń pẹ́kànrin kése àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí lẹ́ ó máa bá pàdé lórí ètò nígbà ìwáṣẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta lórí ìkànnì yìí pẹ̀lú atọ́kùn ètò ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín Oyèdèjì ọmọ Oyèdìran tí ó máa fòbèlè túkọ̀ ètò nígbà ìwáṣẹ̀.
Gbogbo ilé la kí o wọ́n ní baálé ilé tó wọlé tí ò bá ti kí àwọn ọmọ ilé irú wọn máa ń pàdánù ṣùṣù rárá káàbọ̀ torí náà ni a ṣe kí lọ́balọ́ba lóyè lóyè gbogbo ènìyàn pátápátá làwa kí àwọn olólódì gan o ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò nígbà ìwáṣẹ̀ fún ti ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí jẹ́ bí a ti máa ń sọ ní gbogbo ìgbà a fẹ́ kí ó máa yé gbogbo àwọn olùgbọ́ àtàwọn tó ti ń bá ètò bọ̀ pé ètò yìí kò sí fún ẹ̀sìn àsọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn jẹ́ lórí ètò yìí àṣà àti ìṣe wa ibo la bá dé báwo ló ṣe wà láyé ìgbà náà àwọn èèyàn nígbà tó ojú dúdú sí ojú dúdú lóòótọ́ wa ni ìyẹn nígbà láéláé nítorí ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ń lé gan tí ń gbàgbé bí wọ́n ti ń ṣe ń gbà náà àwọn ọmọdé ìwòyí àti ẹ̀mọ́ kí là ń pè láṣà kí ni ṣe Yorùbá gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ni àmọ̀tánnáwò yẹbẹyẹbẹ bí a ti máa ń ṣe lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ àtúntò wá dé sórí ètò fún ti ọ̀sẹ̀ ibo là ń lọ nígbà ìwáṣẹ̀ lórí ètò lọ́sẹ̀ yìí ni pé kí ni à ń pè gbogbo wa la mọ̀ tá à ń pè ní eégún eégún oríṣiríṣi eégún wo ló wà kí lórísun eégún gbogbo ẹ̀ náà láyẹ̀wò eégún ṣe eré ìdárayá ló wà fún ni àbóṣà gbogbo ìhà tó bá kọ sí olúkálukú gbogbo ẹ̀ náà lẹ́gbọ̀ọ́ lórí ètò fún tòní ibo la wà lónìí lórí ètò a wà lọ́dọ̀ ọba Dr. Túndé Abẹ́rẹ́fá nílùú Ìrágbìjí àwọn ni àjọ tukọ̀ ètò fún ti òní orúkọ tèmi tí ó tukọ̀ ètò Oyèdèjì Oyèdìran mo tún kí i pé ẹ káàbọ̀ bá a ṣe máa gbádùn ètò àtọ̀gbádùn rẹ̀ dọ́gba fún tọ̀sẹ̀ kábíyèsí bàbá ẹ bá mi kí àwọn tó wò wá nílé.
ẹ ṣeun gbogbo ẹ̀yin ará ilé pátápátá tẹ̀sí ń wà ò ní fọ́ tẹ̀sí jẹ́ wa kò ní bí o ṣe àfúráyé ìmọ̀sílẹ̀ sí ní o ṣe orúkọ tèmi ní Royal Eminence Dr. Túndé Abẹ́rẹ́fá araba ògbó ní àgbáyé.
ẹ káàbọ̀ sí orí ètò bàbá ibi tí a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò ni pé bàbá fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn wọ́n kàn mọ̀ eégún bàbá kí ni ń dé eégún gan.
lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tí a bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn eégún tàbí àwọn nǹkan àbílẹ̀ wa àtọ̀júbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọba àdúgbò kan mo júbà lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Àgbìjí of Ìrágbìjí ọba Abdulrasheed Ayọ̀túndé wọ́n mọ̀ mọ́ sí o
ṣe bàbá
júbà lọ́wọ́ ọba Ọ̀rọ̀lúwọ̀ tuntun ọba tuntun kẹjẹ ní Ọ̀rọ̀lúwọ̀ èmi ní bọ́bá rọ́tàn rẹ̀ Àmọ́lùdéni Adéyanjú lọ́rùwọ̀ ti Ọ̀rọ̀lúwọ̀ ojúbà lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni tí lè bẹ̀ ṣe bàbá wa Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ bàbá wa ọ̀nà tó ti lè là tó jẹ́ kójú wá sí kẹ́tí wọ́n ń pè léegún.
ẹ lè bá a kó mọ́ orísun rẹ̀ bó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó.
eégún òrìṣà ni eégún